Excuse me?
What's that? Couple Central teams? Oh! Hello, and welcome to Team Profile and Projections on Talkin' Baseball, presented to you by T-Mobile as we chew through some teams that are going to have a major impact on this baseball season. We have certainly leveled up, and it starts with this first team we're going to talk about, Coach Trev. The 20th ranked team by our people, the people that submitted their list. It is the Kansas City Royals. The Royals last year, they went 82-80. The offense struggled, 26 in runs. The pitching was there. The bullpen and starters were both 7th in ERA. We know they've got some high-end talent on both sides of the ball. Who they lost? Mike Yastrzemski. Little deadline ad. He gone. Hunter Harvey, Michael Lorenz, and Taylor Clark, who has some good numbers for them. Angel Zerpa traded for hopefully an impact piece for them. That bleep Randall Grichuk, Adam Frazier, always. Couple other pitcher bodies. Trev, I guess who's new to some Kansas City Royals baseball this year?
There's quite a bit of additions here, as the Royals, kind of like the Guardians, are always searching for outfielders. They brought a bunch of them in this year. Lane Thomas comes over from Cleveland on a one-year, $5.25 million deal. Starling Marte comes over with the Mets last year. That's a one-year deal as well. Alec Lang comes over. He had one Major League Baseball appearance after recovering from lat surgery. He was in AAA last year, but he signed a Major League deal, 1 year, $900,000. This is the one I'm probably most excited about. It's Isaac Collins.
Okay.
A trade with the Brewers. That was Nick Mears and Angel Zerpa. They're also coming over as well. He was with Milwaukee last year, 118 OPS plus. Like, can he be an answer for them in the outfield? I'm pretty positive and optimistic around him. Nick Mears, as I mentioned, came over in that same trade. Matt Strom coming over to fortify the bullpen, coming over from the Phillies. These are all trades, people. Cameron Misner coming over from Tampa. Mitch Spence, a guy that came over from the Athletics. Mason Black, a trade from San Francisco. So a lot of people in. Abraham Toro's here. I know you love him. That's a minor league deal. Kevin Newman on a minor league deal. So they added a ton. Again, a lot of outfielders. You mentioned the offense struggled last year, and I think that's kind of what we'll talk about a little bit more this year. But as I'm looking at this lineup, Jay, there's a chance.
Yes.
There's a chance. Fangraphs has it like this. Michael Garcia, stud, at third base. Bobby Witt Jr., guy at shortstop. Vinny Pasquantino, one of our friends. We'll talk about him in a second. Sal Perez still doing it in the cleanup spot. Jack Caglione, he is the make or break in this offense, I believe. He already hit a couple balls 120 miles an hour in spring training, so that's amazing. Jonathan India at second base. Carter Jensen, who I saw get his first big league hit in a Royals uniform. He's there. He'll be splitting time with Sal. Isaac Collins and Kyle Isbell out there in center field. The bench, Lane Thomas, Starling Marte, Michael Massey, and Tyler Tolbert. So they have potential in this offense, but I think the strong point in this organization for the last couple of years, and especially in 2026, will be the rotation and the bullpen.
Both units, maybe all three units, get me excited, Trev, but the pitching, you can see the path the easiest, in my opinion. Cole Ragans coming back. He should be the one. The modern Cole Hamels. Michael Wacha, Chris Bubich, who kind of broke out. Seth Lugo, who's put up a couple very nice years for them. And Noah Cameron. So that's a Plouffe pitching set. You got some youngs, you got some olds, we got some lefties, we got some righties. In the bullpen, and this is where I do Carlos Estevez and who he's been in this league. Lucas Urseg and who he's turned into. Strom got traded over there. Schreiber, Mears, Lynch, Lange, Bailey Falter, some other guys that could, either ride the bus or have impact pieces. Some veterans, Eli Morgan, Hector Neris. Let's see how it sorts out, but it has options to sort out. And Coach Trev, that's where I want to start with this team. Actually, no. Let's do the lineup because Trev, you're an AL Central man. Bobby Witt is a star of stars in this league who happens to be playing at the wrong time. Like Bobby Witt is Mike Trout a decade ago, just no Ohtani, no Judge, and we'd be talking about Bobby Witt all the time, I think. That it starts with him. As you talked about, like, we know who Vinny P is as a Major League Baseball player. We know who Big Sal is and what he's going to bring. Man, they've got a couple young guy wild cards that could really turn this Kansas City Royals team into an elite team.
Agreed. And, our preseason rankings are out there. I had him at 22. You had him slightly higher. What would you have him at, 16?
16-ish. Yeah, Rob's double checking.
Vinny P was not happy about either of those,
No.
especially mine. He texted us and kind of got on us. And, I think maybe I'm a little too close to the situation. Maybe I am an AL Central hater outside of the Twins. Maybe that's what it is. Because I am looking here, and my mind immediately goes to, yes, I like the pitching, but the offense has struggled, in just scoring in bunches. They just can't really do that. But you're right. If a couple guys click here, because that's been their problems. Like they got a top 4, possibly a top 5 in the last couple of years, but the bottom of the lineup is they're kind of outs. That's what it's been. I'm not really seeing that from this year's Royals because you mentioned that the top guys are there, but if Caglione, who's a consensus top prospect, just a massive human being, if he can get Major League pitching under wraps and be the guy who most people think he's going to be, we're not talking about a bottom of the order bat that's gonna help them score runs here and there. We're talking about a middle of the order, top of the lineup type of guy. Isaac Collins surely is going to help turn that lineup over at the bottom there. I really, really like that trade for them. And then Carter Jensen, as we mentioned, cup of coffee last year, but he did great things with that cup of coffee. He's got a nice stroke. I like the swing. If those guys can give us a full year of good baseball, or maybe it's just one of them at a time. How about that? One of them at a time, be a guy. Then yes, we're looking at a much improved offense because last year we're talking 26th in runs, 26th in homers, 20th in OPS. It wasn't a good offense last year. If we're talking top 15, top 12, then it's a Royals team that's going to be in the playoffs and can be very, very dangerous.
Yeah, I think something that feels different about this lineup for me is normally when we come up on the Royals team profile and projection, the conversation is the lineup, and it's usually a fear because it's like I don't know. And now that Bobby Witt is established as being Bobby Witt, Michael Garcia and Vinny P in the corners having their breakout seasons are just establishing themselves as a certain level of MLB player. That makes everything else fit in, whether it's platoon-wise. Like, I feel like last year we were talking about Michael Massey as he needs to break out for the Royals to be good. Now it's kind of like, hey, you might have to earn your time around here. Between Caglione, who you're right, like that's a different breed of prospect. The dude pitched in college. They called him Jack Toney and like cruised up the minors, got beat up at the majors, thrown into right field. Like, I think that guy's going to be okay. Carter Jensen, and then you go, whether Isaac Collins, Lane Thomas, Starling Marte, there's a lot of chances for something to kick into gear here. That it's the most upside I think I've seen from a Royals lineup in like probably since those really, really good Royals teams.
Don't bring that back.
I know.
I still have nightmares, Coach.
I know, but you love Moose. So
what do you? I'm thinking it's Caglione is the make or break for this offseason, for this offense, excuse me.
For them to be like elite, he would have to live up to his billing a little bit. I think it can just be a good offense, and I feel like we haven't said that. I feel like we haven't said that. Between Isaac Collins, Starling, like all those guys I just mentioned, there's a path. If Caglione still has a young baseball player struggles, they can still be a productive offense.
You're right. I'm thinking of like what makes them like a real problem, and it's that if he goes off and becomes another 800 OPS guy to go along with Vinny, Michael, Bobby Witt, Sal can be whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Love watching him play. So yeah, I think there's more potential than we've seen in a long time with the Royals. But again, yeah, it goes back. The pitching staff is going to be there. 3 lefties in the rotation as it stands right now.
You don't like
Different.
that.
It's kind of different types of
Yeah.
lefties, so I'm into it. One thing I will say about the Royals, and Royals fans, let me know what's up with this. I feel like every single Royals pitcher throws 5 pitches all over 10% of the time. Like is that just like an organizational philosophy? Because that freaks me out. Every time I look at a scouting report and I'm getting ready to call a game with the Royals, I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy throws 5 pitches. And it's got to be something within the organization. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. Like that's makes it very difficult. Cole Reagan's coming back. Injuries last year, had a fully healthy offseason. That's going to be big for them. Bubik had that year, in 2024. They put him in the bullpen after coming back from Tommy John, insert him into the rotation last year. And he's another guy, like just a crafty kind of lefty who, again, throws a bunch of pitches. He's great. So like 2 different types of pitchers. Michael Wacha is who he is. Seth Lugo is who he is. Noah Cameron, young guy. Like I agree with you. Like I love the rotation. Besides Cole Reagans, I don't think there's like this guy that they're just going to shove necessarily, but they're going to keep you in ball games. And that's Royals baseball, man. Keeping the ball games. Offense do the same thing. Then we got this bullpen that can shut the door. Like 22 is too low. Hand up. I said it to Vinny. I said to Vinny, it's too low.
Well, that's why for our new segment going through this, the Amazon Who's Gonna Deliver, just like how Amazon is there to save the day when you're in a pinch. The player, for me, that needs to step up on this Royals team to really make the difference, and I can't believe I'm saying this with the offense, for me it is Cole Reagans. Like, I know he got banged up last year, that when he was on the mound, 13 starts, a 4.67, but it was exactly what you said, Coach Trev. Like, if Cole Reagans comes in as the one, like, no argument, we're talking best young pitchers in the game, it starts with Cole Reagans. It makes everyone else in that rotation fall into line so much better. If it's not, if it's up and down, if it's consistent, if it's injury, that changes who the Royals can be, especially in a postseason series, if we're being honest. Like, if you come in and Cole Reagans is that crochet type in a game 1 of a postseason matchup, or games 1, 4, and 7, or whatever that could look like, I think that changes the outlook. And a thank you to our partners at Amazon. Shop Amazon, save on essentials, and save the every day. And that I feel like I'm getting too lost in bullpen because it is the most volatile part of a team, that a good bullpen on paper could be a bad bullpen. But, man, they've got a lot of options to click down there too, man, that I really like the formula. I think this is too low in the rankings. And I'm a little excited to see the over-under because I'm assuming I'm going to be over. But let's see. The number on our sheet is 81.5. It's interesting. It's interesting.
Immediately, I think over,
which
has my 22 ranking just obliterated.
Right.
We talked about this before the show. When we do these power rankings, first of all, I hate doing power rankings. Okay. Spoiler.
Yeah.
It's preseason. Once you get to a certain point in those rankings, teams kind of all meld together. 81.5 for this team seems low. It seems low to me. I think this is a better than 500 team, that's all it has to be. 82 and 80 gets you the over. AL Central, not very good. My Twins, Pablo Lopez out now. That makes it even worse. I'm taking the over, Jake.
Royals won 82 games last year, and I feel like they're better. Like, I feel like they didn't have the good year last year. And, again, their pitching pitch that it comes to the lineup, and I believe, and that's where, it's one of those corny things, but Bobby Witt being the staple that he is in the lineup allows, if 1 or 2 things do happen, for this offense to happen, that I'm a believer. I don't know if we're doing locks this year. I think this would be my first lock. Like, I'm in on them, and I don't love the state of the Central per usual. And I kind of believe in the Royals front office to, like, fortify this team. Like, they put in an effort above some other teams. I know we don't see the chips all in move maybe that people are looking for, but how often is that move really out there? Royals baseball.
Maikel Garcia in the leadoff spot right now.
I know.
He's been trying to find a leadoff hitter.
He's another
to put in front of Bobby.
He's another big pivot pivot point on this team. Trev, speaking of teams that I normally don't know what to do with, here they are. My Cincinnati Reds. Such a love-hate relationship with this team the past couple of years. They finished 83-79 last year. They went to the dance. They lost 2-0 in the wild card round to the champion Dodgers. So who knows what could have happened. They did have a strong record against teams better than 500, which is usually a strong metric. 44-42. That was sixth best. And Trev, what looked like it was going to be a young offensive factory has now turned into a pitching factory in Cincinnati. They lost Nick Martinez, Austin Hayes, Miguel Andujar. Roll those R's. He hit a lot for them. Some bullpen guys, Barlow, Suter, Gavin Lux, in town, out of town. Zach Littell, who as we record this is still unsigned. We'll see what goes on there. Santiago Espinal, who ended up playing a lot for them last year. That's kind of who's out. Who's new in Cincy?
I forgot this contract, the numbers here. Eugenio comes back. 1 year, 15. Forgot about that. Split last year between Arizona and Seattle. Guess what? 49 homers is good.
Yeah.
No matter what other metrics or anything you look at, 49 homers, good. Pierce Johnson comes over from Atlanta to help fortify that bullpen on a 1 year deal. Caleb Ferguson, same thing. He was in Pittsburgh and Seattle last year. JJ Bleday. I always like JJ Bleday.
Nice.
1 year, 1.4. He still got ARB years if they need that. He comes over from the Athletics. Couple trades here. Brock Burke, another reliever. He was with the Angels last year through 69 games, 61.2 innings. Dane Myers from Miami. We've seen him do some good things in the outfield defensively. So we'll see how that goes. Then I usually don't read a lot of these, but there's some interesting names in the minor league deal section. Nathaniel Lowe, Michael Tolia, Michael Chavis. Interesting. They also re-signed Emilio Pagan, which is really good for them. He's kind of found his way as the closer there. So it's always good we can re-sign a guy that's done well for you. Jake, you talked about the young lineup we thought was going to be there. It hasn't been. But I'm looking at this lineup, and I'm kind of wishy-washy with it, for being honest.
Yeah.
Okay. TJ Friedel at the top. Matt McClain, that was a guy I was banking on a lot last year. Did not happen. Ellie De La Cruz, can you be him? Can you beat him? Eugenio in the 4 spot. Sal Stewart, who they love. He's going to be a massive part of this offense. If they're going well, he's doing well. That's going to be my take there. He's seemingly going to get the nod at first base. Tyler Stevenson behind the dish. JJ Bleday out there in left. Noeve Marte, are you going to be a guy? A lot of question marks here. Key Brian Hayes, love you, best defender in the game right now. What can we get from the bat? On the bench, Spencer Steer, Will Benson, our guy, Dane Myers, Jose Trevino. Other names, CES, Christian Encarnacion Strand from my Twins. We've heard about him for a long time. Nate Lowe, some other guys like that. Offense, we'll get into it. Rotation, excellent. Bullpen, we'll see. What do you got?
Pretty crazy, Trev. As we do this every year and we go through the different teams, you start to see different levels up. And this rotation, Hunter Green could be a Cy Young winner. Andrew Abbott has almost outpitched him at times. Brady Singer, Nick Lodolo, and some of the things he does. If his full season comes together. And then Chase Burns, who might have the most arm talent out of that crew, competing for the 5th spot right now. It should be his. Rhett Lauder. Remember? I do. And he's still going to have his time. Brandon Williamson, who's pitched a little bit. Aguilar, Petty. And then in the bullpen, it's Pagan, Santillan. That's fun. Graham Ashcraft, Brock Burke, Pierce Johnson, Caleb Ferguson, Connor Phillips, Sam Maul. TJ Antone is always fighting. Root for TJ Antone. That guy has fight through some injuries. These are your Cincinnati Reds, Coach Trev. And I'll steer it towards the pitching because I think that's the easy part of the conversation. As we've talked through some of that Reds lineup, I'm wait, Nate Lowe is there? And then I'm is he even going to make the team? But the pitching is laid out. It's one of the most talented / young groups we've seen in a rotation as we've been doing talking baseball, Trev. But they're ranked at 19th, which says something about what's been going on here.
I think people forget they made the playoffs last year, so it's not all doom and gloom in Cincinnati. The pitching is excellent, almost to the point where we heard rumors, and we might continue to hear rumors of like, can they trade Hunter Green? We have this much depth, and if we can ship him off and get a bat, does that make us a better team overall? When you have the ability to trade a pitcher of his caliber and be like, yeah, we got depth, that is the spot you want to be in as an organization. Do I think that's going to happen? Like, I don't, but like they could do it, Jake. And I guess it doesn't have to be Hunter Green. It could be a bunch of different guys. You know, they have that ability. It's a good, really, really good spot to be in. I thought the Mariners is a good comp for this team, or like we were looking for their offense to go. They had the pitching, and they were kind of like figuring it out. I think they're in the similar spot where the Mariners were, I don't know, a couple of years ago. And now look at how we talk about the Mariners. Can they make that type of leap? I mean, is a Cal Raleigh going to show up out of nowhere? I don't know. But they do have Ellie De La Cruz. Like, he could take that next step.
Yeah.
And how many years does he have left? Is it this year and next year?
I
3
think
years?
He's got a couple more. We can get research on it. I feel
I'm looking at it right now.
If it was 2, I think we.
Oh, he's not afraid until 2030. Yeah. It seems like he's been playing a lot longer than he has.
They tried to extend him. It would have been the biggest contract in Reds history. It turned that down. So Ellie betting on himself for this year, and he should. Like, he had a bad second half, and there was a couple things tied to that.
If he becomes what a lot of people think he can,
Trev.
if he locks it in, we're talking about a different trajectory of the franchise. Like, it almost changes everything, Jake. If he becomes, a 40-40 guy, a guy that with an OPS in the high 8s, middle of the lineup, fucking shortstop, man.
Yeah.
Like, it just changes things. It changes how you have to think about the team. And I guess that's where we're at with this. Like, who in the offense is going to step up? I mentioned him, is Matt McLain? Can he go back to 2023 Matt McLain? Like, is that ever going to come back? Because that would be a massive step forward. Is Sal Stewart going to be the hitter they think he is? These are all like massive question marks. You can dream upon it. But right now it's you have pitching, and can we find the offense? That's the Reds in a nutshell.
Yeah, and I do think something deserves to be said. The defense throughout the years, like it became a joke, and then there's actual numbers. The Brewers have tortured this franchise, and it's kind of like their different philosophies. When you look at what's on the field, you're kind of like, I like the Reds better. But when it comes down to the game and how they operate and throw the ball, catch the ball, get the big hit, that's where the Brewers have thrived. That's not where the Reds have, and it's where you see the upside of, man, if Matt McLain shows what he did, and he had a shoulder injury. Go look at Cody Bellinger's Baseball Reference page. Go look at his couple years where he was bothered by a shoulder injury. Outside of that, he's just been really good at baseball. Gino, one of the more consistent power hitters, but he's also, ironically, he's a little streaky. That like, when is that Gino streak going to be, and does it pair well with this offense? And then dude, Noelvi Marte, one of the jokes I've run into this offseason, it was on a tier list doing it with Jolly. If you look at some of the metrics and the whole package, it doesn't jump off the page. When I see that guy, I see a ball player. Like, I like the way he moves. I like his presence, but I don't know what to do with that, because at different parts of JJ Bleday's career, you could say that. McLain, Sal Stewart, like, personality and baseball. If he comes together, that guy's going to be a star in this league. But all of these have big question marks tied to it that I just don't know how that feels over 162, or, if you potentially get out of the gate poorly, how does that feel? But I could use the get out of the gate poorly for 90% of the teams we're going to talk about. I'm
very curious about this over-under. I mean, and I don't know if we've touched enough on the bullpen or the rotation. I think we're just expecting the rotation is going to be very, very good. There is the depth is there. I do think Chase Burns ends up getting that 5th spot, but you do have guys right behind him, and Petty and Louder, and there's others there as well. So like the depth is so there. I think that's what I'm looking for most on this team is like, do they end up dealing any of these guys for an impact bat? Like if they're right in the thick of things, and let's just say that they're leading the NL Central or 1 or 2 games back, and the deadline is there. It's like how. It's gotta be so tempting to do that. The league is starved for starting pitching, and you have it. Like, what move can they make, and what move will they make? I think a lot of their season will probably hinge on that.
Yeah, you wonder some of the weird trade offers this team must have listened to throughout the offseason in the past couple years, and will they act on something like that? I don't know. It's always exciting with the Cincinnati Reds. The bullpen, I can go either way on it, which, again, I know that's a bullpen cop-out. I see a lot of guys that have pitched strong major league innings. I've seen a lot of guys that I'm not sure about the upside potentially, but if they can dog it together as a bullpen, Pagan on the back end, I think he makes both of us a little nervous, but he also kind of shoved last year. So at a certain point, you got to give guys their flowers. I like the way TJ Friedel plays. I'll just say that.
I like the team.
I like the team, and this is where we're about to be put into the weird spot, Coach Trev. As we look at the over/under for the Cincinnati Reds, it's also 81.5. So the fans, ranking-wise, have currently kind of been on it. You need the Reds to be a little over 500. They were 83 wins last year. So,
Did they go on a heater at one point? They did, right?
The Cincinnati Reds.
I'm going right. I got it up right now.
Okay. What are you seeing?
Not really. They were pretty consistent. I thought they went on a heater.
It felt like the other teams around them just fell apart last year.
Maybe that's what it was. 519 in April, 464 in May, 577 in June, 520 in July, 444 in August, and 560 in September to make the playoffs.
It was a good final 2 weeks in the way they earned their playoff spot that way. God, Andrew Abbott, 5.6 WAR last year, 287. I have
on 3.
I have my answer.
In 3, 2, 1.
Over. I mean, there's a lot of talent, Coach. There's a lot of talent on this team. That I don't know. We're at that time where you and I are starting to hunt for unders because you get excited about all of these teams. I don't know. I see the path. God, like
is my Reds to Mariners 2 years ago thing just completely stupid?
No, I liked the part I like the most about it is, okay, to make that jump, Cal Raleigh had to make a massive jump, and like Ellie De La Cruz is primed for that. So I liked that. I had some dark thoughts run through my head that Red fans don't need to hear, so I'll just, with more positive thoughts. Hey, Hunter Green only started 19 last year. What if that guy starts 33? Like, that brings you to 88 wins, and then all of this feels moot. I've loved what I've seen on paper. They need the good juice, and the Brewers and the Cubs are tough. I don't know, Coach. Today's episode is sponsored by MLB The Show. MLB The Show 2026 is almost here, and the World Baseball Classic is back. Take on real-life WBC teams from all over the world with your Diamond Dynasty squad in the online mode. Step up to the plate in brand new World Baseball Classic parks, including the Tokyo Dome and Estadio Hiram Bithorn in Puerto Rico. Additional 2026 game features include Road to the Show, Road to Cooperstown, the Negro Leagues mode, and Season 4, and an upgraded franchise mode experience. New legends, Pujols, King Felix, Pedroia, Andrew Jones, and more. Pre-order now. Available March 17th on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, and Nintendo Switch. Rated E for everyone. At number 18, Trevor, and I can't believe this lumping of teams now, the Texas Rangers following the Reds. These Texas Rangers went 81-81 last year, middle. The pitching was not. The pitching was the best in the game. First in starting pitching ERA last year. The offense, bottom 5 in average on-base percentage and OPS. There are a lot of new faces on this Texas team. They tried to rebrand a little bit. Who is out of town? Tyler Mahle? You always get frustrated with me for that. Tyler Mahle. Merrill Kelly, who they picked up at the trade deadline, threw some innings for them. Phil Maton, Hobie Milner, Sean Armstrong, Adolis Garcia, and Jonah Heim. Baseball moves quick, people. Marcus Semien, he gone. Patrick Corbin, as we record this, Danny Colum and John Gray are unsigned. So is Rowdy Tellez. Bring them back. Someone bring them in. Trev, who did the Texas Rangers add?
Some interesting names here. We got Danny Jansen coming over. He was with Tampa Bay, Milwaukee. Guys, it pays. If you get hit a little bit and play catcher, it pays. 2 years, $14.5 million for Danny Jansen. Then we got some pitchers coming in. That bullpen needed some help. Here we go. We got it. Tyler Alexander, 1 year, 1.25. Jacob Junis comes over. He was at Cleveland last year. He actually had a pretty good year. 1 year, 4. Jordan Montgomery. This is a flyer. Didn't pitch last year. Recovering from Tommy John. He gets 1 year, 1.2. Alexis Diaz. He was in Cincinnati. He was in LA. He was in Atlanta. Another 1 year. So not big acquisitions. Some depth pieces in the bullpen. Then obviously Danny Jansen. Some trades is where they went a little bit bolder, Jake. That's where you love Colorado. Speaking of Boulder. Mackenzie Gore. He's one of the biggest trades of the offseason. He comes over from the Nationals for 5 prospects. Last year, 30 games, started a 4.17. The second half of the year, not too great, but this guy's he has electric stuff. He can be that guy. Brandon Nimmo comes over from the Mets. That was the Marcus Semien swap. Brandon Nimmo is solid as it gets as a ball player. 114 OPS plus last year, 25 homers. I'm gonna screw this one up. Carter Baumler.
Yeah.
Nailed it. A reliever. He was in the minor leagues last year. He's expected to make the Rangers roster. A couple of minor league signings, which will get you juiced up. How about Mark Canha? How about Tyler Wade? How about Nabil Krismat? Nabil. He was kind of a guy for a little bit, wasn't he? Yeah. Jonah Bride coming over. My friend Jonah Bride from the Twins. Austin Gomber. A ton of guys. They also re-signed Chris Martin. He'll be at the back end of their bullpen on a 1 year, $4 million deal. Jake, that's who they've added. Let's get to the lineup, which you look at the names, you're like, this should be a strength of this team. It wasn't last year. Things could change this year. Fangraphs has it like this. Brandon Nimmo at the top in right field. Wyatt Langford out there in left field. Corey Seager at short. Jock Peterson in the middle there, DHing. Although I think he's got his first base glove on in spring training. Everybody has every glove on in spring training. Relax, feel. Jake Berger in the 5-hole at first base. Evan Carter, who they want to win the center field job in the 6-hole. Josh Young at third base, that thick neck guy. Josh Smith at second base. Danny Jansen behind the plate. On the bench, we also have Higashioka, Michael Hellman, Ezekiel Duran, and Sam Haggerty. I mentioned we have Mark Canha, we have Tyler Wade, so they could be in the mix as well. Cody Freeman, he's got a stress fracture in the lower back, but he'll be back at some point this year. Jake, that's the lineup. It looks decent to me. I know it didn't perform great last year. Talk to me about that rotation in the bullpen.
Jacob deGrom was back last year. 30 starts.
That shocked me, by the way. I knew he pitched all year, but just seeing 30 starts next to Jacob deGrom's name got me fired up.
30 starts, a 2.97 ERA, 172 innings pitched. Like Jacob deGrom was here, and he got one-upped by Nate Dogg Eovaldi, who in 22 starts, so he did miss a little bit of time, he had a 1.73 ERA. Mackenzie Gore joins the party with basically unlimited upside. Jack Leiter, who looks like he's tapped in to his ability. And then in that fifth spot, I think you'll see Jacob Latz get the look. And then what is Jordan Montgomery's timeline? Cody Bradford and a couple other. Kumar Rocker, a name we've had along for a long time. And in the bullpen, Robert Garcia and Chris Martin, they combined for a little lefty-righty 1-2 punch back there. And the bullpen deserves some credit. Cole Winn, Junis, Diaz, and Alexander. So a lot new in the middle there. Josh Spores has floated around this team. Your guy, Carter Baumler, who we're both big fans of. Brazier. We'll see who else hops in that Texas Rangers bullpen. Coach, I'll do this the same as the Cincinnati Reds. I didn't realize these two teams were back-to-back because it's a little bit of a similar story. It's a little bit of, okay, we saw the Rangers lineup mash their way to a World Series, and everyone chimes in like they pitched to, yeah, but they mash potatoes. And then it's been a couple years now. The offense has been lackluster, that their pitching was so high-end. And again, on paper, DeGrom, Eovaldi, like if you like the olds, if you like the youngs, this rotation is there for you. There was some clubhouse stuff. I know I'm coming in wide here. I guess what I'm saying is I don't even know where to start because talent-wise, coming off our power rankings, if it was just talent, this team would be ranked a lot higher.
Yes. I mean, you look at the roster, you know the names, you know the talent is there. I do think that at the back end of the rotation, just reading some of the quotes and listening to Skip and Chris Young talk about the team, they want Kumar to be the 5 guy, which would push Latz into kind of a back end of the bullpen or, some sort of bullpen role, which again, I think makes them even stronger. So the rotation bullpen gets stronger if Kumar can do that, which by all accounts seems like that's what's going to be the play here. Yeah, but a lot of it hinges, and I think we have said the same thing now on each of these teams on this episode, the Royals, the Reds, and now the Rangers. Like, can we get this offense going? Because the pitching is there. You can talk about where they play, and they did not hit well at home last year, but that shouldn't matter. That shouldn't matter. You have to figure out how to hit in your home ballpark. I always go back to when we moved into Target Field, and for a while, everyone on our team, first years, the ball doesn't fly here. Josh Willingham came in 2012 and was like, why not? And just hit a bunch of homers. Like, I feel like you need, like, when you start thinking about your home park, it gets in your head and can just cause things. Get out of that Rangers lineup. Like, just say we're going to mash no matter what. New players, new feel to the lineup has to be a thing. I don't know about the clubhouse drama. That's got to be overblown, man. Thinking about Corey Seager and Marcus Semien locking horns, like that doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, some was up. Some was up. We got a lot
just
of
a little
quotes
off.
on it.
Just a little off.
And hey, I don't know. I wasn't involved in that part of it. I just know, where Simeon's offense landed. And hey, you could say the same with Heim. You could say the same with Dolly Garcia. Like these are guys that looked like staple premier players at their position that were not performing that way. And
Coach, we had one guy with an 800 OPS last year.
And that guy's really good.
That guy's the bad man, Corey Seager, who put up a 6.2 B WAR last year. But yeah, but you're right. Jake Berger, 687. Jonah Heim, 602. Josh Young, 684. Adolis Garcia, 665. Like, Jock Peterson struggle. Like, they had a couple bright spots in Wyatt Langford and Corey Seager. And then the rest of the time, and people always like to throw Josh Smith in there because he's got that, defensive versatility. But 700 OPS. Like, these guys got to bang. We got to figure that out.
Yeah, and hey, maybe Nimmo just being as stable as he's been as a major leaguer at the top of the lineup, that can kind of set the tone there. Because Langford's one of the best young players in the game. And hey, a little bit of this team's potential, those two young outfielders, Evan Carter and Wyatt Langford. Like, what is what is their ceiling? I mean, their ceiling is up there. It's just where are they going to be this year? Because I think you're going to see better contributions from Jock Peterson, who he was in. Baseball can bring you to a bad place sometimes. He was in that. Berger turned it on a little bit towards the end of the year. And Seager, man, again, clubhouse-wise, I don't know. But when he plays, and you mentioned he was 6'4". He was 6'4" in, 102, 103 games? So, like, if that guy is out there for 150 games, then it's the same thing I said about Bobby Witt. Like, you basically have an offensive foundation that if anything else kicks into gear, you should be a solid offense, but that's not what this team has seen. That I don't know. I'm pretty gun-shy with this team because then after I give that whole speech, I look at the rotation and I'm like, 1 through 4, they could easily have the best 1 through 4 rotation in baseball. I don't know about easily, but they can. Like they did last year. They did last year. So I don't know what that changes, though.
I mean, they have a foundation in their pitching staff. Okay, so that's you have to have that to be successful in the big leagues. It's just the bottom line. They have that. I mean, if we see Jacob deGrom throw another 30 games this year, I'll be very, very ecstatic. I've been trying to tell people about Nate Eovaldi for quite some time. I feel like that's a feather in my cap. I think Mackenzie Gore is probably the biggest name that people want to talk about right now. But Jack Leiter being a guy that can, match up with like an Eovaldi and DeGrom, that changes everything to me. Like the two guys at the bottom of the rotation we have listed right now, like Leiter and Kumar, like Kumar's working on a changeup. He needs a third pitch. We all know that. If those guys can take the next leap, I mean, then we don't need the offense to be some banger of an offense. Just like we talk about those other teams, like just kind of be middle of the road, like put some rallies together every once in a while because you're going to have this pitching staff that's going to keep you in every single game. So I guess if you're running the team, doesn't sound great. Like, hey, our pitching staff is going to keep us in the game because you do see those names on offense like that needs to be better. I don't really know where I'm going with it. I think they have a high floor, this team.
Okay.
Which also means they do have a high ceiling. Are they going to get there? I mean, they were the worst hitting team at home last year. Does that change at all this year?
It's bizarre. And hey, maybe it is stadium stuff, and maybe one year they'll get their Willingham, and that'll be gone. But some of the offensive categories are scary, and that's where, as we start to look at the over/under, you could spin yourself in either direction because you're like, the offense has to be better, so why not believe? But then it's, hey, if you're going to argue that, you could say, well, the pitching probably has to take a step back just because it's so hard to repeat year over year. I don't know. And is the AL West just nasty? Like the Mariners, the Astros, the Rangers, the Athletics, Halos. But I don't know. I mean, I think if this team was in another division, or if they'd have a different past couple years, we'd be talking about them so much differently. The over-under for your Texas Rangers is 83.5.
Whoa.
So we've upped the ante a little bit. They went 500 last year. Added Mackenzie Gore. This is a tough one for me, man.
I have a weird taste in my mouth with the Texas Rangers.
I know. Last uniform you wore was a Texas Rangers uni?
No, Philadelphia Phillies.
Okay,
Phillies.
so that's right.
Don't do that to me.
No, okay.
Win the World Series in 2023.
Yes.
Go 78 and 84 in 2024. They just never showed up to the dance in 2024.
No.
We said that from the get-go. Last year, 81 and 81. Underperforming offense. I think you could probably call it an overperforming pitching staff, right?
Yeah.
But they added to it.
They had it.
You guys are getting better at the back end.
They added a dude.
So I'm not going to call it over. I think they're going to perform just as well as they did last year. So don't put that picture up, Rob. Don't you dare.
No.
This is one of my most embarrassing pictures I've ever taken. Who's telling me to do that? And why am I I'm a veteran at this point.
I like it. You look like an Eovaldi cousin there.
The beard just, I don't know. I used to think the beard was such a good look for me, but I'm hiding this face too much.
It's a pretty face. So thick.
I know.
See, Texas Rangers, I'm trying to find their best
Okay, so 81 and 81 last year. They got to be better offensively this year. 2 games better? 3 games better gets the over. I don't have this one.
Why?
I think I'm going under. And I don't know why. I shouldn't go under, but I think I'm going under.
So what's in my head is that we're hunting for unders because we, like we said with spring training. I want to pick under so bad. I'll go over. I'll go over on it. The talent is there, and like I can give you so many easy. Seager plays 140 games.
Yep, that
should bring you home. Mackenzie Gore is the guy he was the first 19 starts of the year before he got tired. Like, that should get you there. Never mind the rest of their lineup that just punted. I didn't want to be over, but my heart is over. If I was saying under, it's just me being like, gotta find one. I see over with this.
I mean, I kind of feel the same way, Coach. Like, I don't really believe in the under. If I didn't have any idea of what their record was last couple of years, and I would say over. Just by looking at the names on the roster, understanding like the division is it's not a great division. It's a decent division.
I think it's a good
You think
division.
so?
Yeah.
I
think that's part of what's hurting them.
The Astros they're coming into the season as low as they've been in a long time. And the A's are, they're just a fun offense. And then the Angels.
Yeah. What are you locking in, Coach?
I'll take the under.
Okay.
I don't know why.
No, man, the Reds and I'm glad you added the Royals to the mix. It's a lot of the same, like, this really can work, or you can be a 77-win team. And that's kind of what we're playing for these last 3. 2 more today. At number 17, it is Dalt, Arizona Diamondbacks. Last year, 80 and 82. Man, in a year that feel like a lot didn't go right. 80 and 82. Offensively, 5th in OPS, 6th in runs, a top 10 offense by a lot of metrics. The pitching really let them down, especially in that bullpen. A bottom 5 bullpen. They struggled against the better teams in the league. Extra innings, 1-run games. A lot of the things that can be very frustrated within a season. Also things that can change year over year. Who they lost, the good news, not a ton. They traded Jake McCarthy and Blaze Alexander, who, 2 guys they used to have very high hopes for. Kyle Backus goes to Philly. Jalen Beeks currently unsigned as we record this. Otherwise, Trev, not a lot of significant pieces. They did sell at the deadline. But who did they bring in new to this spring training?
Well, sort of brought back Merrill Kelly. That's an interesting one. He was there last year, traded over to Texas. He comes back 2 years, $40 million for him. They bring in Mike Soroka, who, can start for you, can go out of the bullpen. Jake, I know you love him out of the bullpen. 1 year, $7.5 million for him. Carlos Santana, if you pay, I play, comes over to man first base for them on a 1 year, $2 million deal. Relief pitcher Taylor Clark. Paul Sewald is back in Arizona. He was, I'm crushing that. Cleveland and Detroit last year, 1 year, 1.5. Then a very interesting name here. I think a lot of eyeballs will be on. Nolan Arenado comes over in a trade with the Cardinals. Was traded with cash and starting pitcher Jack Martinez. Down year offensively. It's been going that way for Arenado as of late, but a hard worker, still a premium defender over there at third base. I think that it'll end up being a good trade for them. Cade Stroud, relief pitcher from Baltimore, also comes over in a trade. Some of the minor league signings, Jonathan Loaizaga, your guy, from the Yankees. Derek Law, Oscar Mercado, my buddy. Jacob Amaya. That's about it. Lucan Baker. I always like saying
Baker.
that name. And again, they brought back some guys. I mean, they brought back Zach Gallen. They signed him to basically what is the qualifying offer, but they're able to defer some of that money. So, okay, that's great for them on a 1-year $22.03 deal. And then James McCann on a 1-year $2.75. That's who they brought in. This lineup, there's a bunch of rakers in this lineup. I really like this lineup a ton when it's healthy, because I think we'll get into that in a little bit. Fangraphs has it like this: Geraldo Perdomo at shortstop, stud. Ketel Marte, second base, stud. That's just a super fun middle of the infield right there. Gabriel Moreno, also in the middle of the infield, stud. Like, you're starting out with studs right there. Pavin Smith, what a guy. At DH, Nolan Arenado at third base. Somebody that's young and up and coming, Ryan Waldschmidt. How much do you know about him, Jake?
Top 50 prospect. He's actually having a really strong spring, Coach. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
He's not expected to make the roster, but he might because of some injuries.
As a lot of Talking Baseball people know, Dalton, who is our lead researcher, is as big of a Diamondbacks fan as there is. That I feel like there's a couple things I'm already looking at this sheet that he took some liberties he didn't take with other teams, but I love it. I love it.
And I always, it's Pavin Smith, my bad, guys.
It's okay.
I know, I always say that. Carlos Santana at first base, Jordan Lawler out there in center field, Alec Thomas in left. On the bench, James McCann, Ildemaro Vargas, Jorge Barroso, and I love Tim Tawa. Give me some Tim Tawa. But we got a bunch of people hurt, man.
Yeah.
Corbin Carroll's hurt. Lourdes Gurriel Jr.'s hurt. Tyler Locklier's hurt. So that's the lineup, which obviously did a really good job last year. One of the best offenses in baseball. It should be that way again, especially when they get everyone healthy. Jake, tell us about the rotation and the bullpen.
So a guy Snakes fans thought they were saying goodbye to, Zach Gallen, is back. Which, hey, at the top of the rotation, 1 year, try to build himself back up. Ryan Nelson, Erod. People forget. Brandon Pfaadt and Mike Soroka, my guy, Michael Soroka, excuse me. In the bullpen, Kevin Ginkel, your guy. Paul Sewald, Chris Rose's guy. Ryan Thompson, Dalt's guy. Cade Stroud, Dre Jameson, Brandon Garcia, Taylor Clark, and Jonathan Luizaga. Always super talented, figuring out the health. And then a lot of guys, because they saw a lot of guys come up. Murillo, Rashi, Juan Burgos, Andrew Hoffman. We'll see who else is there. I guess, Coach, let's go pitching. Let's rip the Band-Aid on this one, because this is a team with a different story than the past couple we've told. Like we mentioned, Gallen comes back at the end of free agency, almost, I don't want to say both sides with their tails between their legs, but I think both sides were ready to move on. But that's why you don't burn bridges, kids, because he comes back. And, hey, you can dream upon the rotation a lot better with Zach Gallen in it, especially if he can start the season like he ended it last year. And then the most optimistic spin zone I can give you for the bullpen, it feels like it's got to be better. Just because it was one of my running jokes of last season. It felt like if you did a top 10 craziest games of the MLB season, 7 of them were Diamondbacks games, and that's also code for having a bad bullpen.
Zach Gallen it's got to be the guy. Like, he has to come here and fortify this rotation. You mentioned it in passing. Last 11 starts last year, he pitched to a 3.3. Like, he's got it in him. I think a lot of times when you watched him pitch last year, like, the stuff was just not as sharp, and sometimes the location just wasn't as good. So that's mechanical. That's mental. Like, this is a guy has a clear track record. And again, like, I think now there are times. It was a walk year last year. It didn't go his way. I think this year he's going to say, well, I gotta be like, everything has to be perfect. I don't want to go through that offseason that I went. He's making $22 million. So I don't feel that bad for him. But like, he wants to go out there and capitalize on all of his hard work. So I think we're going to see an extra locked in Zach Gallen. What does that mean? I'm not sure. We'll see. You know, he just got to go do it on the mound, be the guy that he's been. So there's that. But I'd be remiss if we just didn't start talking about like all the injuries they already have, Jake.
Yeah,
like,
and
Corbin Burns is going to be back, but not till the All-Star break. Merrill Kelly's out until like the end of April, so he's missing opening day. You're talking about Justin Martinez, like he'll be back in August. Like AJ Puck, All-Star break. Like there's a lot of guys here who should be contributing to this team, and if they're there, we talk completely differently about this team. But they're just not.
Yeah, I think predicting injuries we can't do, so this is where the D-backs get knocked a little bit more because we already know them.
This isn't predicting. This is
right.
Injuries.
Because injuries are a huge factor in this, and going back to last season when they lose Corbin Burns, like that changes your outlook. And yeah, I mean, All-Star break is the hopeful return for him. That'd be about 13 months, which, sometimes we see that timeline fluctuate a little bit. Gurriel, a couple of the relievers. The positive spin would be if the Snakes can have some excitement and some strong wins and take some series and keep the ship not only afloat, but, playing ball. Like the D-backs aren't a fun opponent to play. Like the offense and putting up runs on you, that part is scary. Corbin Carroll being one of the hamate bone injuries to start the season, that makes me a little nervous, as it does with all those guys that had that. Because not only, they missed spring training. Like that's tough in and of itself. You want to believe in the talent, but like if Corbin Carroll, whenever he comes back, is off to a slow start, like he put up amazing numbers last year. Like he is a special, special player. That being a question mark, Gurriel being out. We're old in the corners. I don't want to send shots fired, but it's a baseball term I think I'm going to steal. Like Arenado and Carlos Santana, looking at that for 162, what does that mean? That, I don't know, as I have more questions about the Diamondbacks, injuries, pitching, and offense than I think I do the past 3 teams we covered.
Agreed. They're kind of dealing with a little bit of underperformance on the pitching side. We mentioned all the injuries. They got a lot of kind of like battles going on right now. They also have a new center fielder that's moving from the infield. Now, Dalton has on the sheets that all reports have been solid. Love that for Jordan Lawler, but I want to see him go out there and do it. Sometimes that turns into gold. Sometimes It doesn't. So there's a lot of question marks early on with the Snakes. Dalton was really trying to convince me to have him higher in his rankings. And now I'm looking at this, and it's like the path to a successful season it's a long and winding road, to quote the Beatles.
Wow.
Love that song.
Not enough Beatles on this. Yeah, I left out. I started saying it. That the hope is that these guys, as they start to trickle back in, can supplement the team. Because sometimes when you have a lot of injuries and guys come back, it feels desperate. And then you're like, oh, we're putting a Band-Aid on an open wound. Hey, it can feel different. It can feel like, imagine if they're 500 and Corbin Burns joins the team. Like, imagine, like, I see the path. It's blurrier. It's blurrier than the past few teams.
You probably can't expect a ton from Corbin. I know like having any of him is great for your team, but again, returning from Tommy John, not great. I don't like this quote either. This is tough. Torey Lovello. I just want them to go out and pitch right now. We'll see where it lands on bullpen competition. I mean, that's not like what you want. You want to have some clearly designed roles. I know we have some of those here. But again, that was the Achilles heel last year, or one of the biggest ones. And I don't know if they've done a ton to address that.
There's bodies, and this has been a thing now with the Diamondbacks. Some of the stats here, going back to 2021, the D-backs have the lowest bullpen F4 of 1.2, lowest K per 9. And it's just weird. And going back to that, the 2023 run, funny having them in Texas paired up in these standings. Like that bullpen kicked into gear. Like they found their formula at the end of games that, hey, maybe that happens. If you can get a couple arms out there and that can feel different. If you have a lead in the 7th inning and it feels like you're going to win a game, that can change the tenor. Or maybe it is Ryan Waldschmidt who Dalt did take the step in putting him in the lineup, getting a jolt of another young, talented piece in Arizona to kind of bump that lineup. Because this has somewhat been a little too negative for a team that has one of the best shortstops, has one of the best second baseman in the game. When Corbin Carroll is there, he's one of the best outfielders in the game. Like there is talent throughout this team.
Well, it's the exact opposite of the last 3 teams we covered.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, like I didn't even see this, but apparently a couple of days ago, on Sunday, Torey Lovullo said that he wouldn't be surprised if Corbin was ready for opening day. Gotta love that if you're a Snakes fan. I wouldn't have him there on opening day if I was them. Let the guy heal a little bit. But honestly, shoot, where they're at, every game counts for this team.
Yeah.
Like, having him in the lineup and, they need every game they can get right now. So it's going to be an interesting year for them. I came in here ready to be, galvanized by Dalt Sheet and, feeling really good about the Snakes. And I don't feel that way, Jake.
Jorge Barosa, my short king, fighting for time. Gilbert Diaz. Let's see what the over-under is. I'm assuming it's going to be lower than a couple of the other teams we just did, but maybe Vegas is seeing it differently. Let's see. The Arizona Diamondbacks, 79.5. So last season they won 80 games. They're saying the run it back Snakes. Tough division.
I'm taking the under.
I'm taking the under too. I don't feel good about it.
I feel pretty good about it. There's great players on the team. That's fine. You could have great players in your team and still not have a good season. There are some areas of this roster that just need like a ton of help, and doesn't seem like there's like a ton of help on the way. I know these guys are coming back at the end of the season, but they're coming back from injuries, so it's difficult to project what they're going to be. And to me, it's just I think they're going to find themselves in a hole.
I have that feeling too. Part of it's a Dodger problem, and part of it's a Padre and Giant problem too. But yeah, like this is right now the recipe smells like like we're gonna look at the standings in late May and being like, damn, the Snakes, it's a tough start, and that can bury a season, especially in that division. So I hope it's wrong. Again, the Diamondbacks as an organization have been probably the most class to us as a company. That I remember when we didn't take Zach Gallen in I think it was like the 23 Cy Young draft. We got ridiculed by them. And I think Torey Lovullo, in a very fun way, was like, keep picking against us in the playoffs. Like they're in tune and they respect it and they have fun with it. That I hope you and I are wrong.
And they gave us Taylor Jackson?
Taylor Jackson runs our socials. Stud.
When did she come over?
Best trade of the century. What's that?
What year did she come over?
I want to say 22.
Okay. I was going to say, 21? If she came over after 23, she's been here longer than that, though.
Yeah. No, we won that trade.
Arizona Spring Training 2022.
That's before the 22 season, right?
Yes.
Shout out T-Jax.
Shout out T-Jax. Our final team for today, and oh boy, this was a hodgepodge of people and the good Lord trying us, Coach Trev. Because the last team, are these all teams that torment me? The Cleveland Guard Dogs, Chris Rose's Cleveland Guardians, and last year, whoops, how's your 88-74? We won the division. We didn't really mean to, but it just happened. And God, the offense, 29th in average on base and OPS, 28th in runs. They won the AL Central. And that's because they throw the ball and they catch the ball. And we talk about it every year, and the story never changes. That bullpen, they survived players getting banned from the sport forever. They survived it all last year, and here they are again, ranked 16th. I had them lower in my power rankings, knowing I was going to regret it. Who they lost in that bullpen, Jacob Junis, who you talked about, had a really strong year, and Sam Hentges missed last season, but talented lefty arm for them. Lane Thomas, who was in that outfield. Will Wilson. John Kensey Noel is out of town. We'll never forget that homer. Nick Enright a couple other bodies for them. Trev, who's in?
I love the Guardians so much. I do. First of all, Chris Rose, if you're listening to this, love you, big guy. Not a lot's in, coach. Not a lot is in right now. They brought in some relievers, and some of these are just hilarious signings. Sean Armstrong from Texas last year had a great year. 74 innings pitched to a 2.31. He gets 1 year, $4 million. Colin Holderman. This is a guy we got to keep our eye on, coach.
Okay.
1 year, $1.5 million. Comes over from Pittsburgh. Do you know what his ERA was last year?
I don't have Colin
a 7.
Holderman's. Okay.
So what's he going to be with the Guardians? They're going to figure
know?
something out.
What do they know?
That's going to be unbelievable. Connor Brogdon comes over from the Angels on a 1 year, $900,000 deal. The most notable signing, I think, for like a regular baseball fan would be Rhys Hoskins on a minor league deal. You get a little Carter Keyboom, a little Stuart Fairchild. They do extend Jose Ramirez. They give him $7,175. He already had a deal. They just put more onto it. He's one of the best players in baseball. I'll give him top 5 every single year, right? That's what he is. Austin Hedges is there again. 1 year, $4 million. He is, I'm not going to call him the captain, but he runs the ship. He runs those pitchers. Got to cracking the whip on those guys. That's what they brought in. The lineup. Let's just, man. Here we go. Torment is the right word. Stephen Kwan out there in center field. This is all Fangraphs for you. George Valera. Chris Rose likes this guy a lot. I do know that. Jose Ramirez, Kyle Manzardo, Rhys Hoskins. Get in there, big fella. Chase DeLauder is a prospect for them. I've also heard his name because of Chris Rose. Gabriel Arias, Bo Naylor, and Brian Rocchio, who is my favorite player in the big leagues at any given moment. On the bench, David Fry, Austin Hedges, Angel Martinez, and Jonathan Rodriguez. He's a prospect slated now to make the team on the bench, according to Fangraphs. That's kind of what we got there. It's not a very inspiring offense, save a few different names, but they get by because they can throw the ball. Tell me about that rotation in the bullpen.
Big old Gavin Williams happened last year and might be happening for a long time with his arm talent reeks of pitcher. Tanner Isabibi. Who's on it? It's been on it a couple years now. Slade Ciccone. Hey. Logan Allen and Joey Cantillo twirling it up there with some other young, talented arms. Parker Messick, Espino, Peterson, Nikazi. In the bullpen, Cade Smith, stud. Hunter Gaddis, same. Sean Armstrong. Zabrowski from the left side with Heron. Matt Festa, Connor Brogdon. Peyton Payette. Not sure if I'm saying that right. I even took a chance on it. Rule 5 draft pick that, again, what do the Guardians know that we don't know? And the thing the Guardians know is you have to pitch and you have to play defense, and they do that year in and year out, and that gives them a chance every year, including last season, which was the perfect example of, they seemed out of it. It seemed like Detroit ran away with the division. Cleveland at one point, let me get their worst record split. Sorry, Cleveland fans. I think they lost 6 in a row, and they were 64-66 at the end of August. And then they kicked into gear to win the division. They have J-Ram. They have Quan. They pitch. What is anything different this year, Trev? And does it matter?
They find ways to win baseball games. Somebody of the people that you don't really think of in the lineup, they'll get the big hit. They'll move the runner. They play good baseball, fundamentally sound baseball, and they have the pitching and defense to keep them in games. I think that's like a very important thing to know about the Guardians. It's like they're going to be in the game. Like they're going to run prevent. Can they figure out a way to get the runner over? Like that is kind of the whole deal here. Stephen Kwan moving to center field is a storyline for this team because that allows them. They're always hunting for outfielders, especially in the corners as well. Stephen Kwan in center field, he's a Gold Glover in left field. Put him in center field, see how he does. That opens it up, in the corners for some of these prospects to come up. Some of these guys with a little more thump in their bat to be in the lineup. Can that make a difference? Surely it can. If Stephen Kwan can be out there in center field hitting like he does, and still maintaining a good defensive statue out there, like he's going to be, his WAR is going to go up. Like he's going to be much more valuable to them while allowing some more positional flexibility. And Stephen Vogt said that. He says, if you're an outfielder in our camp, you're going to touch multiple outfield positions. Like they don't know exactly which way they're going to go with it, but we're going to have to move around. So I've watched this team a ton, man, and I'm surprised every single time I watch them and just kind of like how they do it. A lot of it is, I bring the Royals up, like the 2015 Royals up a lot because it kind of felt that way. They didn't have an offense that was going to overwhelm you at all, but they were always in the game. And if they had the lead at the end of the game, you were done. Like that's kind of just how it was. They'd steal some bases on you, and then the bullpen would come shut it down. It's like kind of what the Guardians, it's kind of what they do, man. So it's not a lot has changed. No, to answer your question, like they're going to do the same thing this year.
Yeah, I think offensively, DeLauder's a real prospect, like top 25-ish. They called him up for the postseason last year, 24 years old. Can he join the party? Can we be talking about Kwan, Ramirez, Manzardo? Like Manzardo happened last year, and what more does he have in the tank? And then on the other side of DeLauder, it would be Rhys Hoskins, who has entered that weird spot of, I don't know, almost people are too comfortable with who Rhys Hoskins is, that he's 33 years old, that the defense isn't going to jump off the chart, that he's got to hit at a certain level. And at a way, he does hit at a certain level, especially compared to some of these Guardian guys that, yeah, man, you can picture the July 1st talking baseball, and it's like, yeah, I mean, Reeser's on pace for 35. That top of the Guardians offense is doing it. They pitch and they catch. You could also see a different path that, like I laid out last year, this Guardians team, if the season stopped in late August, we would have said they were sub 500 and, all around talent-wise, I don't know about these Guardians. Instead, they end up in the same spot, and I guess I'm trying to decide how I really feel on the fly, because again, this grouping of teams was accidentally diabolical. Because Trev, this is like bulletin board, even though guys don't really look at us for pure bulletin board, like pure raw talent wise, this team is probably lower than the past couple teams we've done.
Yes, no, that's not bulletin board material. First of all,
and
people do look at us for bulletin board material. You've been in a ton of hype videos. Yeah. We're getting texts from players to freaking very high up in different organizations about what we're saying. So, let's give ourselves some credit here. I agree with you. Yeah. I mean, just looking at the roster, and Guardians fans would say the same thing.
They kind of love it. They kind of feed off of it.
I don't know if they love it. I feel Chris Rose is maybe a different breed. Yeah. He's stressed at every moment of his life. And I'm like, Chris, you have a great life. Relax, dude. Michelle's way too hot for you. You're fine.
The front office likes you. The manager loves you. Like, Chris Rose, you're in it. You're Cleveland royalty.
I tell Chris that all the time. Maybe he's just baiting me. I'm like, you got a good life, Chris. Like, everyone loves you, dude. I'm so curious of what the over-under is, Coach. Do we need to hit on anything else? Like
I just think going back to last year, the bullpen again deserves more credit for losing Emmanuel Clase. Like that's insane. That wasn't on anyone's simulation or timeline. No, man, it turns into bad analysis if I tell you all of their rotation could take a leap. Like maybe that's part of the formula. Like all these guys in the rotation, they might have more in there. And this is a pitching franchise that deserves to be respected in a way they do on a Brewers-esque level. And man, we haven't said Jose Ramirez. I know that's corny, like old sports talk. We haven't said Jose Ramirez. We really haven't, because he's top 5 for MVP every year, and he's enough in that offense. Like, oh my God, what are the numbers of this offense without Jose Ramirez last year?
Not good. Not good at all.
That's insane. So
They have starting pitching depth. We like the bullpen. They're going to play defense. They got a guy that can do it all offensively, and the rest of the team. This is one of those teams where I feel like it's people give Steven Vogt so much credit, and I love Voter, but like he really can go to these guys and say, just do your job. Like this is like a Bill Belichick-esque moment. Like, do your job. Hey, Rocchio, just play good defense. Just play good defense. Like, you're going to get your hits every once in a while. We're not worried about that at all. Like, he can go tell all these people the exact same thing, and it works out for them. Like, they're one of the teams that finds that secret sauce, man. I think it is that where they just say, guys, we don't need you to be Corey Seager. We don't need you. Like, we just do you. And that's what they do every single year.
Another, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention him. Travis Bazzana, the former #1 pick, looked at his minor league numbers. He did it last year. He's on the cusp. Like, he is going to be on the timeline this year. That I don't know. Bazzana, DeLauder. It's
check out Team Australia. He's on that team. He'll be playing the WBC.
Right. I turn a couple heads there. Let's see what happens. Kobe Allard. David Fry, remember CJ Kafis? All right, Coach Trev, our last over-under of the day.
Can I guess?
Please.
I want to say it's going to be 79.5.
What if I told you it's 79.5?
Is it really?
On the nose.
Wow.
On the nose.
I was going to say lower at first, but the computers are starting to catch on. The computers are getting a little smart here. I feel like it's been lower in years past.
It's still not low enough. This team has won the division 3 of the last 4 years.
Are you thinking about the under? That's insane. I'm taking the over, Jake. I've just seen it too many times, man. This is the American League Brewers.
Yeah, I guess on this season, I am down on them, which is that's just me being a fool. That's me. Everything I just talked about, I'm throwing out. But I'm in on the Tigers. I like Kansas City. That like at a certain point in these divisions, you can't love everyone. But I'll tell you this much: they're going to be 500 or better because that's the minimum requirement for them. That I'm taking the over. They in full seasons, they have only been under 79.5 games once since 2014. They deserve more respect as a franchise, and I'm blowing it.
They get it every once in a while. People are like, the Guardians have the fourth best winning percentage since 2012. Like, that's a stat that's out there.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
That isn't. I mean, this is crazy. As I look at the team page, this is crazy how good they have been as a collective franchise compared to the budgets that other teams have and all of that. Like 2023, 76 and 86. That's the only under 500 season. Or excuse me, there was an 80 and 82. But year in and year out, they're there. Jose Ramirez is a staple. Otherwise, it's young dudes who play defense or throw the ball well. Pretty good recipe. Pretty good recipe. I'm
both to the over, right?
I'm over, yeah. That number's just too low.
That was a tough one today.
This was a tester app. Like, I'm starting to think this was like a Rob Dalton prank of like, let's the teams that really put them in a blender, let's just do them all in one day.
Brian Rocchio negative OAA last year. Too much shortstop, maybe? I don't know.
The defensive stats.
Put him at second.
The eyes see what the eyes want. What? Let us know in the comments. What did you like? What did you disagree with? Where are we wrong? We might be wrong this whole episode.
Yeah. I'm willing to bet we got some things wrong.
Welcome. Thank you for enjoying our wrong episode. We will be back. I think we're doing one more group of 5 TPPs, and then we start dicing them up a little bit. So thank you, guys. burped. We appreciate it. Wow. Pleasures.